Hello, welcome to a new week of reading, our second week at home. I have another book by Patricia Polacco to share with you. This will be our third one, including our guest reader before spring break who read Rashinka's Eggs to us. Last week we focused on My Rotten Red-Headed Brother, and this is my favorite Patricia Polacco book. It is called Thunder Cake. And by the time we get to the end of the week, I'm going to have something really kind of exciting to share with you and to share with your parents that you can do along with Thunder Cake. But this is one of my favorites. Now, we've talked about with Patricia Polacco's books, she chooses stories from her childhood to turn into her books. So this would be a true story from her childhood that she has turned into a book. You're going to notice some of the same characters again, maybe some of the same setting again as last week's book. And I want to show you, before we get started reading, the assignment that I'm going to have you do. You're just going to get a plain white piece of paper. Here is what you're going to do with your plain white piece of paper. You're going to do the front and the back. On the front, you are going to draw a line right down the middle like this. And up at the top, you're going to put main characters. I forgot main, so I put it in parentheses afterwards. Down at the bottom, you're going to put setting. Remember, that's where and when the book takes place. Then, on the back, you're going to divide it into thirds, just like that, and do beginning, middle, and end. So now you have 5 sections, one for each day of the week, okay? This first section is what you're going to work on today. So today we're just going to listen to the story for the first time, get familiar with it, okay? Hear all its great words that it has, and we're just going to focus on who are the main characters, all right? So we will go back to that at the end of our story, but let's get started with Thunder Cake by Patricia Polacco. Thunder Cake by Patricia Polacco. It says, let's try that again. On sultry summer days at my grandma's farm in Michigan, the air gets damp and heavy. So storm clouds drift low over the fields. Birds fly close to the ground. The clouds glow for an instant with a sharp crackling light, and then a roaring, low, tumbling sound of thunder makes the windows shudder in their panes. The sound used to scare me when I was little. I loved to go to my grandma's house. Babushka, as I used to call my grandma, had come from Russia years before. Think back to Rashinka's Eggs. That's from when she was in Russia. But I feared Michigan's summer storms. I feared the sound of thunder more than anything. I always hid under the bed when my mom moved near the farmhouse. This is the story of how my grandma, my babushka, helped me overcome my fear of thunderstorms. Grandma looked at the horizon, drew a deep breath, and said, "This is thunder cake baking weather, all right. Looks like a storm coming to me." "Child, you can come out from under that bed. It's only thunder you're hearing," my grandma said. The air was hot, heavy, and damp. A loud clap of thunder shook the house, rattled the windows, and made me grab her close. "Steady, child," she cooed. "Unless you let go of me, we won't be able to make a thunder cake today." "The thunder cake?" I stammered as I hugged her even close. "Oh, don't pay attention to that old thunder, except to see how close the storm is getting. When you see the lightning, start counting real slow. When you hear the thunder, stop counting. That number is how many miles away the storm is. Understand?" she asked. "We need to know how far away the storm is so we have time to make the cake and get it into the oven before the storm comes, or it won't be real thunder cake." Her eyes surveyed the black clouds away off in the distance. Then she strode into the kitchen. Her worn hands pulled a thick book from the shelf above the wood stove. "Let's find that recipe, child," she crowed as she lovingly fingered the grease-stained pages to a creased spot. "Here it is, thunder cake." She carefully pinned the ingredients on a piece of notepaper. "Now let's gather all the things we'll need," she exclaimed as she scurried towards the back door. We were by the barn door when a huge bolt of lightning flashed. I started counting like Grandma told me to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the thunder roared. 10 miles! It's 10 miles away, Grandma said as she looked at the sky. About an hour away, I'd say. You'll have to hurry, child. Gather them eggs careful like, she said. Eggs from the mean old Nellie Peck hen. I was scared. I knew she'd try to peck me. I'm here. She won't hurt you. Just get them eggs, Grandma said softly. The lightning flashed again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I counted. 9 miles, Grandma reminded me. Milk was next. Milk from old Kick Cow. As Grandma milked her, Kick Cow turned and looked mean right at me. I was scared. She looked so big. Zip went the lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I counted. Boom went the thunder. 8 miles, child, Grandma croaked. Now we have to get chocolate and sugar and flour from the dry shed. I was scared as we walked down the path from the farmhouse through the tangled woods to the dry shed. Suddenly, the lightning split the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I counted. Boom, boom, crashed the thunder. It scared me a lot, but I kept walking with Grandma. Another jagged edge of lightning flashed as I crept into the dry shed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I counted. Crackle, crackle, boom, kaboom, the thunder bellowed. It was dark and I was scared. I'm here, child, Grandma said softly from the doorway. Hurry now. We haven't got much time. We've got everything but the secret ingredient. 3 overripe tomatoes and some strawberries, Grandma whispered as she squinted at the list. I climbed up high on the trellis. The ground looked a long way down. I was scared. I'm here, child, she said. Her voice was steady and soft. You won't fall. I reached 3 luscious tomatoes while she picked strawberries. Lightning again! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I counted. Kabang! Boom! The thunder growled. We hurried back to the house in the warm kitchen and we measured the ingredients. I poured them into the mixing bowl while Grandma mixed. I churned butter for the frosting and melted chocolate. Finally, we poured the batter into the cake pans and put them into the oven together. Lightning lit the kitchen. I only counted to 3, and the thunder rumbled and crashed. 3 miles away, Grandma said, and the cake is in the oven. We made it. We'll have a real thunder cake. As we waited for the cake, Grandma looked out the window for a long time. Why, you aren't afraid of thunder. You're so brave, she said as she looked at me. I'm not brave, Grandma, I said. I was under the bed, remember? But you got out from under it, she answered. And you got eggs from the mean old Nellie Peck hen. You got milk from old Kick Cow. You went through tangled weed woods to the dry shed. You climbed the trellis in the barnyard. From where I sit, only a very brave person could have done all of them things. I thought and thought as the storm rumbled closer. She was right. I was brave. Brave people can't be afraid of a sound, child, she said as we spread out the tablecloth and set the table. When we were done, we hurried into the kitchen to take the cake out of the oven. After the cake had cooled, we frosted it. Just then the lightning flashed, and this time it lit up the whole sky. Even before the last flash had faded, the thunder rolled, boomed, crashed, and broomed just above us. The storm was here. Perfect, Grandma cooed. Just perfect. She beamed as she added the last strawberry to the glistening chocolate frosting on the top of our thunder cake. Look at that cake. It looks delicious to me. As rain poured down on our roof, Grandma cut a wedge for each of us. She poured us steaming cups of tea from the samovar. When the thunder roared above us so hard it shook the windows and rattled the dishes in the cupboards, we just smiled and ate our thunder cake. From that time on, I never feared the voice of thunder again. The I hope you enjoyed the book Thunder Cake as much as I did, as much as I do. I'm going to take you back to this now. I just want you to draw a picture and write the names of your 2 main characters. You don't have to turn this in to me every single day this week. You can just save it until we're all done at the end of the week, and then you can go ahead and submit the whole thing to me then. Thanks for joining me today.